I feel like I would be a really good ref, though, from the side.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't miss the call.
Backseat ref.
When the WNBA's Golden Goose goes down and the league pretends nothing's wrong, the cracks start to show. Caitlin Clark just broke her silence in a candid sit-down with Sue Bird, her most revealing conversation yet about her injury battles. For the first time, she spoke openly about the emotional gut punch of being thrown into Game 30 without proper preparation, and how that experience gave her a new respect for the injured teammates who had been quietly pushing through their own pain. Clark didn't sugarcoat the mental strain of watching from the sidelines as league ratings swung wildly in her absence. Her vulnerability in this interview laid bare not just the personal toll, but the cold truth about how much the WNBA leans on her star power. So, will the league finally start protecting its players, or keep treating it like business as usual? For Clark, the nightmare wasn't a slow build, it hit fast and hard. The first blow came in pre-season with a left quad injury that instantly shifted the entire trajectory of her rookie year.
Challenging part of like all this. So obviously I have the first injury and I sit out 4 games and then I come back and I play really well.
Yeah.
And I feel really good. And like even this begin the year, like I played great. Like I started the year really good. Like I felt really great. Like my numbers were great. I was shooting the ball well. And then I get hurt and it's like, okay, like you got to get healthy, whatever. You're like, I'm going to do whatever I can, you know, to get back to what I was doing and whatever.
From May 28th to June 10th, Caitlin Clark was sidelined with a quad strain, missing 5 games. Then came another blow, a left groin injury that kept her out from June 26th to July 5th, costing her 4 regular season games and the Commissioner's Cup final. But the right groin injury on July 15th was the breaking point. It was the final straw in a season defined by stop-and-go chaos. This wasn't just about physical pain. The uncertainty gnawed at her in ways she never expected. In college, she never missed games. Now she was face-to-face with the unforgiving grind of pro basketball. Sitting down with Sue Bird, Clark put it bluntly, "It's not like I have a training camp. You're tossed into Game 30. No usual ramp-up. Just trust your body and hope it holds together." Every comeback carried the same mental weight. Could her body keep up, or would it betray her again? And then came the text from her mom, a reminder that hit just as hard as any injury. "You've taken so much time for everybody else. You need to take time for yourself now."
And ticket sales are like up across the WNBA, and then and they're also, when you don't play, there's a dip, like a substantial dip. So how do you handle, does it impact your patience? You know what I mean? Like you're coming back from this injury and you know this, everybody knows this, that when you play that changes.
Yeah.
I guess the better question is, how are you like managing it so it doesn't impact your patience?
Those words hit Clark harder than any defender ever had. Suddenly, the push to get back on the court wasn't just about basketball. It was about finally putting her health ahead of everyone else's expectations. That was the turning point, the moment she began to see her role in an entirely new light. And the numbers backed it up in a way the league couldn't ignore. The Fever were simply better with Clark in the lineup, going 8-5 when she played compared to a flat 9-9 without her. Her absence didn't just change the team's energy, it changed the scoreboard. And off the court, the ripple effect was just as clear. Attendance dipped, TV ratings dipped. When Clark sat, the whole league felt it.
Early on, with the first couple injuries, I was like, oh, like I need to get back. But I think like my mom texted me like after this last injury, and like they know how hard it's been on me, but my mom was like, you know, you've taken so much time for everybody else, like you have to take time for yourself now. So just trying to do that the best I can.
The May 17th Sky Fever Showdown drew a staggering 2.5 million viewers, one of the season's crown jewels. But without Clark and other marquee stars, some ABC games barely scraped past 1.5 million. Meanwhile, the Fever were fighting tooth and nail for a playoff spot without their primary scorer and playmaker, T-Times. Injuries left them with just 9 players suited up, and strict league rules on hardship signings kept them from adding reinforcements. For Clark, the grind was an eye-opener. She walked away with a deeper respect for every teammate who had pushed through pain before her, and a sharper understanding of how heavily the league leaned on her. Without her lightning scoring and pinpoint passing, the Fever's offense slowed, their plays became predictable, and opponents caught on fast.
And like the hardest part has just been like the stop and go of everything. Like, and also like with the type of injuries that I've dealt with, like there's no real, it's not like 6 weeks. All right, you're coming back for the Connecticut Sun game on August
all about how you
30th
feel in the
or
moment.
whatever. It's like, how do you feel? Like, and even like when I have been back, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day after playing, like when you're dealing with like these type of injuries. So I think just like the patience of dealing with all of that and giving myself a lot of grace and just trying to be the best.
Teammates were forced into roles they weren't ready for, and the Fever's 5th place standing felt like it was dangling by a thread every time Clark sat out. Up until now, she'd kept her thoughts to herself. But in her sit-down with Sue Bird, that silence broke, and the league office wasn't ready for what came next. When Sue asked about her sideline coaching during games she missed, Clark smirked and dropped the grenade, "I was more so coaching the refs." She let it breathe for a beat before delivering the knockout line, "I'd make a good ref. I wouldn't miss a call. It wasn't just a sting. It was a direct shot at league headquarters." This wasn't a throwaway crack from a frustrated rookie. Clark's comment landed right in the middle of one of the WNBA's most heated seasons in years, where officiating was already the league's biggest open secret. Coaches had spoken out. Players had spoken out. Some even ate fines for saying what everyone else was thinking.
Cool to like see people continue to show up, and like for my teammates, whether they're like fans of the Fever or just fans of myself, like they're continuing to show up and support. And like that's why I've been trying to take as much time as I can. Like I sign autographs for way longer when I'm hurt than when I'm active. So that's never something I like wish for, but like, you know, I still want to make as much time as I can for people and, you know, give them something that they can.
And then came Clark, the league's biggest draw, timing her jab so perfectly it couldn't be dismissed as harmless trash talk. She delivered it with that rare mix of humor and conviction, making it clear she wasn't just griping about missed calls on her. She was calling out an entire system. She still made time for the fans, injured or not. "It's cool to see people keep showing up, whether they're fans of the Fever or just fans of me, and that's why I try to take as much time as I can," she said. "I actually sign autographs way longer when I'm hurt than when I'm active. I don't wish for that, but I still want to give people something they can remember." And when Clark spoke, it carried weight, not just because of her star power, but because her basketball IQ gave her words the kind of credibility you can't fake. Clark had studied film enough to know exactly what a foul looked like. She understood positioning and contact better than most players in the league. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment frustration, it was calculated truth. From the sidelines, she'd watched her teammates take punishing hits with no whistles. She'd spotted patterns in how certain games were officiated. And after enduring her share of hard fouls and what she called cheap shots in her rookie season, she decided it was time to speak up. That sly jab at the refs wasn't just shade, it was part of a bigger wave of frustration that had been bubbling for years. Players had quietly grumbled about inconsistent officiating forever. Clark put a megaphone to it, and the league office suddenly had a problem. Their brightest star was publicly questioning the very integrity of the game. They couldn't ignore it. Clark's comments didn't just make headlines, they lit up the internet. Clips from her Sue Bird interview went viral within minutes, fans flooding timelines to debate whether she'd crossed a line or just said what everyone else was too afraid to. "I'm going to go to every road game no matter what, whether I'm playing or not," she told Sue. "It's hard, because I do feel this responsibility to be out there. Not that I think there's a fear of people walking away. That doesn't happen when LeBron or Steph get hurt. They're always going to be there. But you still want to play. You want to give people something to cheer about, something to scream about. People spend so much time, money, and to come." Inside the league, it was chaos. Executives scrambled in group chats, debating whether this was just a momentary PR flare-up or the start of something much bigger. A public challenge they couldn't control. Clark could have let the moment fade, but instead, she leaned right into the buzz she'd created. Some inside the league feared it would open the floodgates for other stars to publicly challenge officiating. Others, behind closed doors, admitted she was right. The media pounced instantly. Headlines painted her as both a fearless truth-teller and a rebel unafraid to take on authority. Talk shows replayed her "I wouldn't miss a call" line on loop, breaking it down like a clutch game winner. Around the league, players flooded her DMs with thanks for saying what they couldn't. One veteran told her, "You just said out loud what we've been screaming in locker rooms for years." Fans devoured every second, the smirk, the timing, the body language, all of it turned into meme-worthy gold. But this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a warning shot. By questioning officiating, Clark forced everyone, refs, coaches, executives, to either defend the status quo or admit change was needed. And once that conversation starts, there's no shoving it back in a box. It's also been good for me, Clark told Sue, because when I go out before games and sign autographs, see all the young kids and fans, it gives me perspective. It makes me thankful for everything I have and for how much people truly want the best for me. The WNBA's official response? Silence. No public statement, no memo, no acknowledgement that their biggest star had just taken aim at officiating on national platforms. But insiders say the temperature was rising. Some executives wanted to quietly pull Clark aside, urging her to keep certain opinions in-house. Others warned that muzzling her would only backfire. She wasn't the type to take a corporate warning and then smile for the cameras. The referees' union reportedly bristled, with whispers that some officials felt personally disrespected. Yet, sources close to the league admitted her critique wasn't baseless. Data was already showing foul call inconsistencies across teams and markets. And as social media kept the story alive for days, the silence from league headquarters only made it louder. Clark had been under relentless pressure all season. Full court traps, non-stop defensive heat. It was constant, she said. But as the season went on, that slowed down. It's hard for teams to keep picking you up 94 feet all year. By then, hashtags like #Clark was right and #Fix the Whistle were trending. Every questionable call in other games had fans tagging her, asking what she thought. Whether the league liked it or not, she'd become the unofficial face of the WNBA's officiating debate. The Fever were caught squarely in the middle. Coaches had to field officiating questions instead of talking game strategy. Teammates defended her in interviews, calling her fearless and fiercely protective of her squad. By week's end, it was clear, this wasn't just about one interview. Clark had lit the fuse on a movement. The officiating conversation had jumped from locker rooms to national headlines. Now the league had a choice: fix the problem or brace for more public fire from the star they couldn't afford to lose. It's been such a huge part of my year, Clark admitted. It's challenging, being active for 4 games, then out again. You work so hard in the off-season, and suddenly all you do is rehab. You try to trust the process, but it's frustrating. When she finally returned to the court, the spotlight was blinding. People weren't just watching to see if she was healthy. They wanted to know if the refs would treat her differently after her bombshell comments. From the opening tip, the tension was thick. The first time she drove the lane, absorbed contact, and didn't get the call, the crowd erupted in boos. Cameras cut to her face instantly, and there it was. That same smirk from the Sue Bird interview, only now aimed squarely at the officials. Her teammates fed off the energy. Every bucket she scored, every assist she dropped, only turned up the volume in the building.